Good day and welcome to your favorite show, Be the Best You Can Be, on your number one hit music station, EBIS2. I am definitely your dear brother in Christ, Ishmael Spesihle Kumalo. Young person at home, this is the show, the time where we get together as young people to interact, equip each other, to help each other be the best vision of what God has set out for us to accomplish here on earth. We are here, young person, as a show to spur you on so that you may one day stand before God and hear the much anticipated words, well done, good and faithful servant. Well, young person at home, I bring you technical greetings from Pumuza Sitsebe, Laki Dlamini, and my gracious, good, faithful team from the International Family Church that continues to support us and help us as we prepare for this show. This is a youth show, young person at home, that seeks to empower, to minister hope, and to encourage young people, to equip young people to carry out their God-given assignment, to be distinct, walking in dominion and divine destiny as purposed by God. If you find that to be a mouthful, here's a sentence to help you understand what that is all about. We exist as a show to see to it that you live a purpose-driven life. We want you to live a purpose-driven life, not just to exist, but to thrive, to excel in everything that you do. And in today's show, I have a dear guest with me, Reverend Bruno Musumba, all the way from the beautiful land of Kenya. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing very well, and I thank God for the opportunity to be here with you.
For the person who doesn't know who you are, would you be so kind as to tell us who Reverend Bruno is?
Right. My name is Reverend Bruno Musumba, and I am an ordained minister of the Kenya Assemblies of God. Number one, I am a senior pastor of a local church in Kenya called International Christian Center, Kiserian. Secondly, I am in charge of an organization called Manup Africa, where I'm the Africa director.
And young person at home, today's show will focus on just that, man up. We want to talk about the man today. Often at times when we talk about man, Reverend Bruno, we normally talk to men for the sole purpose of bashing them. Are we going to be bashing men today?
No, today we are going to be offering hope.
Why would a man need hope, though?
Every man needs hope. Every man needs to be encouraged and to be told that they are the best version God created. All right? Man is the ultimate creation. After everything was done, then man was created now to take care of everything else. So he is the best version of God's creation. And so here we are today to encourage and to lift the man in our midst.
So God had a plan to create earth, and then he felt like, okay, for the person who can steward this earth that I've created, let me create a man.
Of course, he had the plan at the beginning. He knows everything from the end. And so he had the plan of creating the earth, putting everything, the firmaments, the waters, and everything. But he knew that the right person, the right way to handle and to take care of the creation is to have man be created to take care of the earth and everything created.
That's encouraging and beautiful because we need man. In a world where men are constantly being told that they're not needed, certain people can live without man, it is encouraging to see and hear that there are still people out there who still want to capacitate man.
Yes, man is needed. There is an innate need inside everybody, whether it's a young man, whether it's a child, whether it's a lady, whether it's a mother, that there is a need for a man, because man is created as the head of the home to give guidance, to be able to give direction, to be able to be a provider and a protector of the home. So man is needed. You are needed as a man.
Let's go now to the this organization that you run. I'll call it an organization for the purposes of this discussion. Man Up. What is that? Where is it coming from? What is its purpose?
All right. And so Manup is a parachurch organization that comes alongside churches by supporting them to either, number one, begin men ministry in their churches. Number two, to strengthen men ministries in their churches. And the way that we do that is that we have tools and materials that we develop as Manup to be able to give to the church so that they're able to disciple their men. So it's purely a discipleship model for the church. That is Manup.
Yes. So strictly for the church, or can a business or can an organization outside of a church identify the need to disciple man and still use this tool?
Well, the tool can be used in church. It can be used in the office setup, in organizations, in places where you need, where men are meeting. You can come together, maybe through interest-based meetings, just to have men maybe of the same age, maybe doing the same career. You can come together and do Manup as a program.
What's in the name, Man Up? You know, often at times when somebody says to you as a man, man up, they are saying it to almost, whip you into shape.
Yeah, into shape. You know, we've watched many movies, we've watched many series where you hear the words, man down. Yeah, man down, somebody's down. And so for a long time, it's been seen that men are always beginning from the negative. All right? And so they are always man down. So now we are saying, for the sake of this generation and the generations to come, we are now calling it man up, meaning that the man is rising up to the right place, rightful place where God intended him to be. So man up. Every man to be up, lifting other men, lifting the society. You see, at Man Up, there are three things that we want the man to do. Number one is to lift himself up. Number two, lift his family up. And number three, lift the society up. So man up, lifting the family, lifting the man himself, and the society.
Why a ministry that is tailored for men, though? What is it about Sunday services that is not, what are the needs that men have that Sunday services are not meeting?
As a pastor and as a minister for many years, I know when we call for men on the pulpit, by the time we say the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God, that man is already in Maputo. You can actually see from the corner of your eyes that the men are already living because they believe you are calling them for maybe a building project, you are calling them to ask for money, you are calling them to bash them, you are calling them. But now we are saying we coming up with something that will bring men together. The Manup program has got about 3 outcomes that we want to see from the man. Number one is that they will do Bible study, that the men will be together and do Bible study. But number two is that the men will form meaningful relationships, all right? That they will have authentic relationships even as they grow. They walk together, they talk together, that men want other men to walk with them. You see, when the Bible says it's not good for a man to be alone, we always assume it's just about getting married. But it's not good for any man to be walking alone, any man to be left behind. We want all the men to walk together with us. And that's why even our tagline is one man at a time. One man at a time. We carry one man and we move on with them. Thank you.
You speak of something that is pertinent and we take for granted, the idea of authentic relationships.
Yes.
Here's my assumption, and you couldn't correct me as a wise and a man who's lived longer than me. I believe that a lot of men commit suicide because they've lost hope and they are in isolation. But if we're to be in a community, and also Jesus, when he was healing people, he would always say, go back home, go back to your village,
Yes,
go back to your...
go back home.
So why was he doing that? Because we need support as men. But often at times we come to church, but we are still living in isolation.
We come to church because probably at the back of our mind, we see it as a man's project. We see the pastor, he is a man like us, but he is working to enrich himself. So we want to isolate ourselves from him. And so we assume that the church is only for the ladies and the children. In fact, many men say, I am okay, let me just bring my wife. She wants to go into many meetings. And also my children, they need this Jesus. Me, I'm okay. Me, I'm fine. I have my boys. I'm okay, I am fine. But remember, there was a man in the Bible who, there was a time that came that he could not walk. He could not carry himself. He could not do anything for himself. So he needed 4 men around him to carry him to where Jesus was. And so the men, so these are his crew, authentic relationships. These men realized this man needs to be carried. So they carried him to Jesus. But when they reached where Jesus was, the place was full. But they said, our friend is dying. We will not allow the crowd to be a hindrance for this man. So what we are going to do, we are going to go on top of the roof and identify the correct roof. That is where the problem begins with men. Yeah. Men carry you to wrong roofs. They carry you to alcohol. they carry you to immorality, they carry you to things that are not good. But these guys, they carried him to the right roof, removed the right roof, all right, from this house, and dropped them. Imagine if they went to the wrong roof and removed the wrong roof. So you need men who, when you are lying down, who, when you are defeated, can go, know where the roof is, where the healing is, they can carry you to the healing. That is the essence of authentic relationships as a man that you need.
But I can almost hear somebody screaming to their radio right now and saying, but how do I identify those authentic relationships?
Aha. So you've always had this thing about Mr. Right, Mrs. Right. Everybody's looking for the Mr. Right, but they keep forgetting about themselves. That when you point at others and saying, these guys are not good, all right? One finger is saying not good, but three are pointing at you saying you're also not good. And the thumb is saying God is a witness. But you need to begin from yourself. Begin from inside of you. Knowing that you have been created in the image and the likeness of God, that there is something you can offer. You can offer that authentic relationship. He who wants to be loved must also begin loving. He who wants to be lifted must lift others. Yeah. He who wants to water others he wants to be watered, must also water others.
Yeah.
You cannot always isolate yourself and be in a corner and expect everything to be well. When you hear a rallying call, men come together, avail yourself, be available, be a vessel that can be filled. Yeah, so be available.
He who waters others, he will himself be watered.
Yes, he will be.
So now let's talk about the characteristics of a godly man. We are talking about man up. But what am I aiming for? How, like, right now, if I want to say I'm going to Nairobi, Kenya.
Welcome.
I have a specified destination in mind.
Yes.
But when it comes to manhood, do we have a specified destination in mind? What is a godly man?
A godly man serves others. Jesus led by example by being a godly others. And he says very well in Mark 10:15. It talks about the Son of Man did not come just to be served, but he came also to serve. So many men, we come up and we are expecting to be served. And we think that is being godly. Let me tell you, being godly is serving others. Allowing yourself, using your 3 T's, your talents, your treasure, and your time to serve others. That you use the 3 T's you have, that God has blessed you. God has blessed every man with unique talents, with unique treasure, with unique time. Everybody has some time. And so you are able to serve others. So one characteristic that I would want, it is the hardest one. Serving other people. That is the first one. And I have a quote here. Somebody said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. It was said by a man called Mahatma Gandhi. Right? And another quote here by Eleanor Roosevelt says, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of your dreams. You can have dreams, believe in them, but you need to be at a place of serving other people.
How do you do that, though? Because especially for us in the African context, we are constantly taught we are the kings of our homes, of our jobs.
We are.
And in all that, it almost insinuates the idea that everybody has to serve us. So how do I serve others?
Okay. So everybody believes that they are fearfully and wonderfully made. They are head and not the tail. They are above and not below. They are in front and not behind. Every man wants to believe. But you see, it applies for both men and women. Not just the man. Yeah. When God says in Jeremiah 29:11, I know the plans I have for you to prosper you. He will not prosper you just the man alone. He prospers you alongside your wife. If you are married, when he's prospering that home, Musumba family, my family, he's prospering me alongside my wife. So we are going hand in hand. And so, one of the best way is to stay true to your values as a man. Right? A godly man serves others, but he has allowed Jesus Christ to be Lord and King over his life. That he has not allowed him just to be born again, but he's now King. All right? Like you say here, Nkosi.
Yes.
Wonderful. That a man who allows the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords to reign supreme in his life. All right? And to know that he is called to not only serve, but also to lift the generation. And that the people he is serving are standing on his shoulders to see further than he can see himself at that particular moment. Right? So God is calling you to a place of mentorship as a man so that you are able to lift others to see far beyond where you can go or where your age will reach. There's a place you'll reach and you'll be called and gathered up with your ancestors. But somebody else must continue serving others.
You know, in the challenge of being a man or manning up to what God is calling us to be, we can't deny the reality of the African society that we grew up either with an absent dad or without a dad at all.
Okay.
How do I become a man when I've never seen a man in my life or it has never been modeled for me?
Okay. And so Manup, one of the things we emphasize is what we call cross-generational mentorship. Meaning that for me, I am almost 50 years now, that I should be having other young men that I am working alongside with, right? That I am mentoring, that are seeing the example from me. I was fortunate enough to grow up in a home with a loving dad and a loving mom. All right, I saw the model of a working relationship, a good home. But I am pretty sure there are young men who are looking at me, they are looking at my marriage, and they wish they can have that. But they look at where they are coming from, and they see impossibility. Now, it is my role as the man to man up and lift other men. Cross-generational mentorship. Mentor a young man. Mentor men who are coming into the workplaces. Mentor men who are in Bible school. Mentor men who are in schools. Have opportunities to go and speak to men. Have opportunities to go and serve together with men so that they can see an example in you of what it means to be a godly man. The reality is there are many broken homes. The reality is that there are many who have chosen not to accept this way of life. But we are telling them, hey, it is possible to return back to where God is calling you to be the man, the head of the home, but who serves.
Am I correct in understanding you to be saying, yes, our reality of pain, growing up in a broken home, we need to accept it, but it can't be an excuse for why we cannot be real men?
That is what I'm saying. There is the pain of the past. All right? Every man has got some pain points. Things that you look back and you say, I don't want to be this again. I don't want to be this kind of man my father was or the mentor that I saw was. And you're saying, I want to make a difference moving forward. So that's why I was saying, you now begin staying true to your values. You say, I want to be a man who serves. You want to be a man who honors. You want to be a man who encourages and lifts others. So the pain is there. Very true. Each one of us has gone through pains, and maybe you're going through some pain right now. But God is calling you to a place of healing. Then after healing, now you move up. You pick up your mat now. Now, after the man was healed, he was now told, the 4 men after dropping him with the mat, now he was told, now you are healed. The pain of the past is gone. But you can't leave the mat here. Pick it and let people see you walk out of it. Let people see that the pain you went through is now catapulting you into the next level of your life. That you are now giving testimonies and saying, I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. A new reality of life.
What would be the positive impact if churches, pastors, leaders, business, community leaders, whatever, were to take this program seriously and invest in men, disciple men? What sort of positive impact can we anticipate?
Okay. So at Manup, we have prayerfully written all the curriculums and the materials. They are in different levels. In fact, one of the flagship curriculum is called the Fight Club. The 12 opponents of a man. The 12 things every man, whether in Eswatini, whether in South Africa, whether in Kenya, whether it's in Colombia, whether it's in Mexico, is fighting. As if they take seriously this material and then put it as part of their culture in church to work with men, we are going to see homes changed. We are going to see marriages restored. We are going to see relationships restored. And we are going to experience a healing that has never been seen before. A healing happening not only in homes, but even in the hearts of men. In the churches, we'll see many more serving and committed themselves into raising other men.
How accessible is this program in terms of, I know there's nothing for free. As we say here, there's nothing for mahala. There's nothing for free. How accessible is Manup for the ordinary man out there?
All right, so God has enabled me to be in charge of the Africa continent, to be able to give the material. So what we encourage the men, the churches, the organization, is to be able to access the materials through downloading, because we give them in soft copies. Then the cost that they will incur is that they have to print for themselves. So they get in touch with us. They get in touch. In fact, if they go to our website, manupafrica.org, manupafrica.org, they are able to see the materials. They are able to see and see what we do, how we do it. They're able to get in touch with us. If somebody would like to get in touch with me, it's very simple. My email address is bruno@manupafrica.org, bruno@manupafrica.org, and then they can write me an email. Or if they want to shoot me a WhatsApp message, the number is +254 722 575068. So the material is available for you, but now the structure we'll give to you. We'll have a meeting with you. We'll do the envisioning for your team. All you need to do is just invite us. Invite me and I will come over to run this program with you.
So when you say a pastor or a business leader can invite you, because some will be scared. Listening to us right now are small churches with very limited resources.
Good.
What does an invite look like? Can they say, I'm inviting you for a chat over Zoom, Skype, whatever, so that I can get an appreciation
You
of
have
this?
just taken the words out of my mouth. The world is now a global village. All this I'm talking about is available through inviting me through WhatsApp. You can WhatsApp me and we have a conversation. Number two, I can set up a Zoom meeting with you to train you, to train your pastors, to train your leaders, so that in turn they can train in advance for moving forward. And then the churches that are able and are resourced well, they're able to invite me physically and I come over. The way I have been invited here in Eswatini by the IMAX, so that I come and I launch the program officially and also lead the graduation. Because after the 12 weeks of study, the first study, then you graduate and move into the next level. So the program is in levels. The first level is called the Fight Club, the 12 opponents of a man. Then the next level is called the Road Rules, the 10 rules of the road. Every man loves cars. Okay, maybe the exception of a few. You love cars.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Formula One kind of cars.
Now, we have drawn 10 lessons from driving for every man. And so that is the next level that is done now over a period of 1 year. And then the third level is now what we call conferences. We call them legacy conferences. And the simple question we always ask, and I'm going to ask you, take your age and add 100 years. Where will you be and how old will you be?
137.
Okay. All right. If the Lord tarries, you'll go to heaven. If it does not tarry, you'll be gathered up with your ancestors. But this station will still continue. Somebody else will be sitting where we are sitting. And so the next level of study is called legacy. We want to tell you to think about the next generation of leaders. Thank you.
So, and that sounds appealing for the leader, though. How do you then get the man to then say, listen, I want to sign up for this?
Okay. And so once we envision the pastor, the leaders, the deacons, and anybody maybe in ministry or a leader of organization, then now it is incumbent upon them, all right, now to be able to do a recruitment drive, share in his church about this amazing program. If possible, they can put the men in a WhatsApp group, and then I come in and I speak a little bit more about Manup. I give testimonies from different countries and and places where we have seen the success of this. And so once men sign up, they begin. Now, one thing with men, they are slow to start. But once it catches on, then men want more time. Like the 12 opponents of a man. When it begins, it is slow. But when it reaches a place where we talk about anger versus forgiveness, now men begin opening up more. And so many men want to join at that particular time and say, yeah, you guys are doing a great thing. So we tell them, yes, it might be slow at first, but it will catch on in the continent of Africa. So far, we have done 13 countries. So
And which are those countries? Can you name
some
a few?
of those countries are the East African countries: Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, Rwanda, South Sudan. We have Ethiopia. I have gone to Malawi. We've done Zambia, right? So those are some of the countries.
Are you also in Botswana? I've seen a few guys in Botswana talking about Manup.
So what has happened is that the word has already gone ahead of us, ahead of me. Okay, so I'm hoping that very soon I'll go into Botswana, but also I'll go into Lesotho.
Okay.
Yes, and South Africa, of course.
So how often do these men meet, and what's the structure of the meeting?
Okay, and so when we say the 12 opponents of a man, it means that they will meet for 12 sessions, which means they meet for about 3 months. It's a weekly meeting.
It's a weekly meeting.
It's a weekly meeting. Men come together on a weekly basis. And the structure of the studies is this way. First of all, there's the book, the student's guide, and the teacher's guide. And then they study together. And then after studying together, now they break up into small groups, where we call them table groups. Now they go for, at the end of the study, there are questions that are asked that they can now discuss together. Then it goes for 12 weeks. After 12 weeks, now they go for a retreat, a one-day retreat as an organization, where they do a session called Victorious. And then in that session, we give them their certificates of Manup. And then we encourage them on the Sunday that follows. In their churches, they do a graduation in their churches to be recognized as men. Many times, men are not recognized when they do such things.
So from the first session to the last one, how long is that process?
It's about 3 months. We say 12 weeks, that means once.
Over the steps, you mentioned that there are levels.
Okay. So the first level is 3 months. The next level is 1 year.
Okay.
Because the second book, called The Road Rules, is men meet once a month. Once a month for 12 months. Then when they are done, but remember, as they are meeting, there are subsequent groups that are coming up. When this 3 months is over for the Fight Club, another group can be starting. And so it's just continuing. And then once, as the process continues, at the end of the 1 year, then we organize a retreat. We organize a conference called the Legacy Conference. Now we bring together those who have already done Manup, gone through the road rules, but now also for those who would like to join and come and see what Manup is. So we use it as an outreach tool to reach to the men to come and join Manup.
So within 18 months, a man can be properly equipped. Discipled for life.
Discipled. Cross mentorship happening for life. It's a life-changing tool for the men. See, for the ladies, they have many conferences. They even have crying conferences, meat conferences, eating conferences. But for men, which conferences? Just sometimes it's power-packed conference, but sometimes we want conference where now we can speak to the man as a leader. Thank you.
What sort of, let's try to put characteristics to this man that we are looking for to attend this. What sort of men are we looking for?
Okay. We are looking for all men everywhere. All men. Single, divorced, searching, confused, abandoned, not sure where he's going. All men everywhere. Every man matters. Every one man at a time. Because within that group, God always raises a man or somebody to use to touch a generation. And so, whoever comes, we receive them in, we disciple them, we walk with them. You look at the 12 disciples of Jesus. Who were they? Unlearned, and some of them were unschooled. Some of them were some riffraffs. But the Lord, look at what happened to them. Look at how far the gospel is right now. Because Jesus took time, 3 years with them. And
Just
we are
3
we are
years.
saying yes. We are saying we can do 3, but we know our African men, so let's say 18 months is fine to work with them.
Let's go back to the leader now, the church leader who will be organizing these meetings, discipleship meetings.
Yes.
What sort of resources should they have for them to be able to run this program?
Number 1 is the heart to run this program and to engage. Number 2, we expect them to at least have a phone or laptop that they can go online to put meetings into place, to organize for meetings. So just some resources, some data that they can have to organize for these meetings and to call men into these meetings. But if they have a church, even the better. They can do physical meetings in their church. So just a resource of having a place where they can meet for meeting. When it comes to, we see when men come together, it's good also they have something to bite. Okay? So what we encourage them is that the men who are coming for the meetings, they can organize themselves to be buying something, to be biting together as they have conversation.
Yeah, fellowship always happens well when there's fellowship, huh?
Yeah, the mind opens better when the mouth is engaged with something.
In terms of language, though, is the program flexible that if I'm a pastor in a rural area where people are not as educated or can't, you know how it is with resources that come from the West or global West, the words that we read from those books are just too big for our level of education. So can it be then tailor-made to be in the local language?
Okay. So when we began Manup in Africa here, it was all in English. But every country we've gone to, we have allowed them to translate the books.
Okay.
So we have given them copyright. Like right now, the book is translated into Swahili, into Kinyarwanda, into Burundi. So we allowed them to do that.
Okay.
And Swahili, when we went to Tanzania, it's a Swahili nation, they translated it. And so if they are the leaders in the countries, in the nation, they are willing, we give them the copyright and they're able to translate the book into the local language.
So it is user-friendly, definitely.
It is very user-friendly. Yes.
I want to give you 5 minutes to talk to the man. Particularly, there's this group of men that I want you to talk to. It's the man who feels down, hopeless, no sense of direction, has been beaten up so bad, but you still see inherent value in them. I want to give you just 5 minutes to speak into that man.
So Abraham Lincoln once said, in the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It is the life in your years that count. I'll repeat that again. It's in the end, it's not the years in your life that counts. It is the life in your years. So many men outside here, I know you have lived your years. You keep looking back and wondering at 40, things are not working out very well as you had expected. We always say life begins at 40. Yours has not even begun at 45. And so you're wondering where you're going. Maybe you believed that by 25 you'll be successful, you'll be married, everything will be working well. Things are not working well yet. But let me assure you that in the fullness of time, when the time is right, and we say that God's timing is the best, everything will work out. And all things work out for good for them who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. And so it is going to turn out well for you. Keep trusting and keep believing in the Lord. Thank you.
Just your contact details lastly as we close.
All right. Is the mic still on? I think it's gone off. But
Yeah, I think it's recording.
okay. And so my contact details, if you website manupafrica.org, WhatsApp number +254 722 575068. If you want to write me an email, use bruno@manupafrica.org or my email brunomusumba@gmail.com. Thank you and God bless you.
Well, young person at home, I hope that was helpful to you and you were encouraged by this. Until we meet again, nakupenda sana. God bless.